The gaming community can be very vocal about things they don't like. So when publishers and developers really mess up, you can expect a massive backlash. Here are 10 controversies that outraged gamers.
That future starts right here, right now.
Microsoft intended to be the first platform holder to usher in the new generation of HD gaming with the Xbox 360. In their rush to get to the market first, they made a box with serious overheating issues. This would often lead to total system failure, which became known as the Red Ring of Death. Microsoft worked to fix these issues and was generous enough to extend warranties and replace malfunctioning units. However, the massive amount of broken Xbox 360s was a huge controversy that plagued gamers for years.
This is it, Xbox One.
Microsoft completely messed up the reveal of the Xbox One in 2013. The console was supposed to have strict DRM policies that made it impossible to trade games between console owners. The Xbox One also needed to be connected to the internet once every 24 hours to prevent it from locking up your game library.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360, that's your message if you don't, like it?
If you have zero access to the internet.
Gamers were having none of it, and it became such a controversy that Microsoft completely reversed all their policies before releasing the console. Sony, on the other hand, had a field day and didn't hesitate to make a mockery out of their competitor.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
Oh, you just come up with ideas and then you have a game. It's awesome.
Good old Phil Fish is no stranger to controversy. The independent game designer behind Fez caused outrage in 2012 when he said that Japanese games sucked.
What do you think about the recently Japanese game?
Is it what is about Japanese games that inspired us?
Recent.
Recent
I'm sorry.
They suck. I'm sorry. Like, you guys need to get with the times and make better interfaces and like update your technology. We're totally kicking your ass. Back then, you guys were the king of the world, but...
He outdid himself a year later when he rage quit the internet and cancelled Fez 2. Fish got in a Twitter fight with Game Trailers host Marcus Beer that escalated quickly. The argument culminated with Fish writing, "I'm done," Fez 2 is cancelled, goodbye, and locking his Twitter account. Phil Fish is currently working on a VR-based Tetris clone called Super Hypercube.
Now the space envelops you completely. It's not just a magic window. You're not just peering into this world. You are in the world.
Has there ever been a bigger fan outrage than the controversy surrounding the end of Mass Effect 3? The underwhelming climax of the Mass Effect trilogy upset gamers who were led to believe that their choices actually matter.
I'm getting that everywhere. It's a pain in the ass.
BioWare had no choice but to respond by offering fans a little more closure with free DLC. They completely made good with the brilliant Citadel expansion a year later, in which Shepard and his crew got the goodbye they deserved.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything. We've had a good ride.
The best.
Nowadays, Gamergate has become something of a joke and the gaming industry has arguably improved. But back in 2014, it was serious business. The whole thing started when a female game developer was accused of sleeping with members of the gaming press in order to secure more attention for her game. This resulted in an online riot that escalated from angry comments to boycotts and threats against multiple women in the game industry. Which leads us to our next subject.
All these visual designs are deliberate choices made by the developers, and they serve a specific purpose. They communicate to straight male players that these characters exist primarily as sex objects to be consumed.
Anita Sarkeesian is one of the most controversial women in gaming today. Just mentioning her name is enough to evoke deep rage in some gamers. The feminist is famous for her Tropes vs. Women in Video Games series on YouTube, in which she examines the depiction of female game characters.
Regardless of whatever absurd explanation a game might provide, it should go without saying that the only real functionality of outfits like this is to titillate the presumed young straight male player base.
She quickly became the target of a hate campaign consisting of sexist harassment and online threats. Many of her enemies hold her responsible for what they view as the increasing influence of feminism on video game culture. Video game controversy doesn't get more heated than this.
With all the fighting, running, and climbing these women have to do, dressing them in heels is clearly a decision rooted in sexualized aesthetic pleasure rather than believability.
Before Anita Sarkeesian, it's safe to say that Jack Thompson was the most controversial person in gaming. Nobody fits the angry grandpa stereotype better than good old Jack.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Everything was fine, and then you show up, and then we're dead!
The lawyer has been doing legal battle with the very concept of video games since the late 90s, blaming them for causing real-world violence. The Grand Theft Auto series became his primary target until 2008, when Mr. Thompson was permanently disbarred, preventing him from practicing law ever again. Gamers around the world celebrated for days after hearing this news.
Be gentle, of course.
Konami is the #1 big bad publisher of 2015, as far as most gamers are concerned. They fired the beloved creator of the Metal Gear Solid series in the worst possible way, and even went as far as removing his name from the box. Then they went on to cancel the hugely hyped Silent Hills game and pulled the popular demo PT as well. Their upcoming game Metal Gear Survive is getting lots of negative feedback, and many fans of the series have said to boycott the title when it comes out. You reap what you sow, Konami.
So my friends who are reporters tell me that there's absolutely nothing in the world that makes their editor's day like controversy and bad news. So to all our esteemed members of the press, I say, you're welcome.
In 2011, information from over 70 million registered users of the PlayStation Network had their personal finance details compromised or stolen. This epic fail by Sony outraged many gamers who were unable to use this service for 24 days and had to update their credit cards. Sony even had to explain themselves to the US House of Representatives. It was a mess that affected a lot of gamers, and Sony had to work hard at earning their trust again.
誠に申し訳ございませんでした。
They said sorry, gave away a bunch of free games, and completely overhauled their online security to prevent something like this from ever happening again.
We are committed more than ever to making sure that the PlayStation Network experience is both entertaining and secure for everybody.
Don't miss a thing with the All Access Pass for Connect Sports Season 2.
We're pretty used to them now, but online passes and microtransactions were very controversial back in 2010. Gamers were outraged to find out that multiplayer content was being locked away behind an online pass. Microtransactions were also seen as further evidence of nickel and dime tactics by greedy publishers. The days when you could just buy a game in a store and receive access to the entire experience are sadly gone forever. Which video game controversy disgusted you the most? Let us hear what you have to say in the comments section. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
I'm so sorry.
Did you look
Look at his face. Look at what you did, Phil.